Hello guys, this video will be about my first impressions about Broodmother in the new patch. She got reworked quite a lot, and I just want to go over all the changes and tell you guys what I think about them. I still did not play a game of Brood, so I couldn't really test out the changes, so this is just my initial thought process and like watching 2 or 3 other good Brood players play Brood and talking a little bit about all the changes with them as well. So let's just check out the changes. Agility increased by 4. This is really good. Like, Brood's level 1 was so freaking bad. So this just gives you like 4 damage at level 1. Like, really great buff. A little bit of armor, 4 attack speed. This is really cool. I love this, man. This is what Brood needed, level 1. Incap Bite has been removed. We got a new spell that's like a mix between the old Aghanim's Shard and Incap Bite. Then we have Spawn Spiderlings. Debuff duration increased from 5 to 20. What this... I think this tooltip is wrong, for sure. Because the debuff duration on Spawn Spiderlings was actually 2 seconds, not 5. So this is wrong. I don't know why they write 5 here. But it was 2, for sure. So now you can just use your Spawn Spiderlings, which is your new ultimate, by the way. You can use this like 2, maybe even 3 times on an enemy. And you just get more spiders. This means you don't have to like last hit the enemies with the spiders anymore. You can just use the Spawn Spiderlings when you engage into the fight, and then maybe you get a second Spawn Spiderlings off on the same enemy, and you still get the spiders, like both of them. And that's like really cool. Yeah, same for those legs. The debuff stacks, so this means you can have multiple instances of spiders. Like if you would spawn 3 spiders with 1 nuke, then using the nuke 2 times spawns you 6 spiders. Even after like killing them after 18 seconds, or I don't know. Rework Shard. The Shard now makes your new spell an AoE ability that increases the miss chance to 80%. This is really good, but we should probably check out the spell first. Like this is now a basic ability. It no longer roots, but it slows enemies for 6 seconds and gives the miss chance, kind of like the old bite, but a little bit nerfed. If I remember correctly, I think the slow was 50% before, so we have 5% more slow, which is nice. But the miss chance, I think it was 60% before. So this got nerfed a little bit. But with the shard, you have 80%, which is more, so I think that's fine. You even have impact damage on the spell. And, which is really fucking good, is the next one. Causes attacks on the target to deal +8 magic damage per hit. This means if you have 40 spiders, each of them will do 8 magic damage per hit plus their normal damage. So for the small spiders, the spider rights, they only have 9 initial damage. So this doubles their damage. This is basically like having the old, or I mean it's still the same talent, like basically like having the level 20 attack damage talent with baked into the spell, and the talent is still there. Like this will increase the damage of our spiders by so much. I'm 100% sure that this spell will get nerfed. By the way, I think all the abilities are a little bit overtuned and all of them will get nerfed. But yeah, I think this is like a great change. Before you had problems killing heroes with higher armor like Terrorblade, but with this spell, this is not a problem anymore. The cooldown is also really low. At level 4, like 12 seconds is not that much. It has 50% uptime. And the cast range is 750. That's really cool. Like before, Brood had the problem that you couldn't like get close to some people. Like for the bite, you had to hit people to apply the bite and to make them slower, right? But with this, you can use this out of trees and then you can get close to the enemies, which is way better. Okay, so now again to the shard. Making this an AoE spell and increasing the miss rate to 80%, dude, for me this is incredible. This is, I think, the most broken spell on Brood right now. If there's a team fight, you can just make, theoretically, all enemies miss 8 out of 10 hits for 50% uptime, dude. Like, this is crazy. You can slow 5 people and make them miss 8 out of 10 attacks. If you buy Radiance, which has 18% miss chance, by the way, you stack up your AoE miss chance to 98%. This means out of 100 attacks, enemies only hit 2 out of them. This is like insanely strong, because miss chance does stack additively. Normal evasion only stacks multiplicatively. Same for like everything else in Dota, like magic resistance and shit. But for some reason, making enemy miss, like the miss rate stat itself, stacks additively. So this means we have like 80% flat plus 18% with Radiance, which is 98. I think that's like way too broken. This will probably make Radiance Brood come back. If this damage, like the miss rate percent here doesn't get changed. Like, I think this is just way too high. Okay, next spells, Spin Web. Count charges increased. We have more webs on each level. This is really great. I think this is really good, especially with the improved replenish time. This makes Brood way more mobile. Like, you're allowed to play more parts of the map than before, and it makes it just way more easy to just change the area you play. Like, you can actually spawn more webs and they recover more quickly, and you even have more webs in general. Really great. Kind of a nerf to the early game movement speed of the webs, but at the highest level it's like still nearly the same, like 1%. I don't think this is any noticeable. And yeah, like the early nerf, I don't think that hurts Brood too bad. Okay, let's check Insatiable Hunger and Spawn Spiderlings. Those two spells got swapped. This means Insatiable Hunger is now your Q. You can learn this ability from level 1, and Spawn Spiderlings is now your new ultimate. My first impression of looking at this was, dude, Brood is shit right now, if I'm honest. But after thinking about it for like 5 minutes, dude, this is like a big buff to Brood. I think this fixes all problems Brood had. Like before, you had to wait for level 5 to have a power spike. Like at level 5, you had Spawn Spiderlings, 3 points in it. And this allowed you to have like a good laning on Brood. So this means the levels before like level 5, Brood was still shit, right? Like Brood had a really weak early game, especially like level 1, 2, and 3. Level 4 was the point when she started to becoming okay, and then at level 5, you start to become good. But now with this changed, you have no problems level 1. Like this spell gives you 60 damage and 70%, 35 damage and 70% lifesteal at level 1, dude. Like you just have Metamorphosis of Terrorblade with a cooldown of 40 seconds and a duration of 8. So you can basically activate this spell every creep wave. You have such a high amount of damage, like you have nearly 90 damage level 1 if you buy stat items on Brood right now. And you have 70% lifesteal on level 1, dude. This is so crazy. Like there's no other hero in Dota that can outlane Brood anymore. Like Brood will probably be the strongest laner, or like one of the strongest laner in Dota. This is incredible. Like I don't even know what to say, but this fixes all Brood's problems. Like you can now have a really good early game and win like the first few levels, and then after level 6, which is just one level later than having the Spawn Spiderlings like at level 5, you will still have the same amount of spiders and shit, but your early game is just way better. So you're at this point with way more items, probably more denies, more last hits, and the enemies being weaker, dude. And this is crazy for me. I think it's just way too good. Is there anything else? We have a cast range increased on Spawn Spiderlings. This is kind of nice. I don't think this is like the biggest deal, but it is kind of cool for like last hitting people in teamfights and stuff. And this allows to just cast your Spawn Spiderlings like once or twice onto enemies out of the trees with the new duration scale. It's kind of cool. We have the spawn count rescaled from 1, 2, 3, 4 to 3, 4, 5. This means like level 7 we don't get as much spiders anymore. But after we hit level 12, we get the same amount of spiders, and when we hit level 18, we get even more spiders than before. Like I think this is a buff to late game Brood. And I don't really think that's like a big deal in the early game. Like the one spider we got was not that big of a deal. I think that's fine because we just have way better early game with the insatiable hunger. So I think in general Brood got buffed a lot, and she will probably be more of an offlaner right now. Like this ability makes her an offlaner, in my opinion, because her laning is just so good. You can probably still play her as a mid. Like you can still last it and deny nearly every creep on mid and stuff, but you won't accelerate with levels that much anymore, so that you have to play her mid. And like the survivability aspect of insatiable hunger just makes Brood such a good offlaner. So for me, this will make offlane Brood comeback for sure. But I think all the values are way too high. Like probably every spell will get nerfed. Like this will maybe have like more mana cost or more cooldown. If they don't change the shard, or they maybe just remove the increased miss rate on the shard, then probably the spell would be fine. The insatiable hunger, I think the level 1, the damage is a little bit too high. This should probably be like 20 or 25, and the lifesteal will probably get to nerf to like 30%, like 30, 50, 70, 100, I don't know, something like this, or maybe 40, 60, 80, 100. Probably, because I think the early spike from Brood is just way too good right now. One other thing that I noticed that might impact Brood is some items. We have the Soul Ring. Where's it here? Soul Ring costs a little bit less gold. This is kind of nice. And I think you can buy the Soul Ring later. Yeah, like you probably build Power Treads and like a Rave Band before you build the Soul Ring now. But I think what is a big change is the Diffusal in Solar Crest. Like the mana break damage got increased. The mana break on melee illusions reduced. This, like, you don't care about this at all from Brood, so this is basically just 20% damage buff from the mana break. And you got 4 agility here. You don't really care about the int. This is nice to have here, but I think the agility increase is really good. So with the base agility buff and having this agility buff, you basically just have like free 8 damage. That's kind of cool. Together paired with this makes Diffusal even better. I think this was still like the best item on Brood before, and it makes just even better than before. Same for the Solar Crest, dude. I loved buying Solar Crest on Brood before, but I think having the ultimate orb into the Solar Crest was just way too expensive. This was like the only problem of the old Solar Crest. But right now, if you check what they changed, the armor is a little bit less that you can reduce. Yeah, it's only 6 instead of 8, but I think that's fine. Because it's like 1000 gold cheaper. And you still have like the active attack speed slow, you still have the armor reduced. It still gives all stats. I think this item is so good. Like the build up is really good as well, because the medallion will be really strong in lane with the new bite. So I think this will be a great item. Like especially combined with your E, with the Silken Bowler. If you use Solar Crest and your Silken Bowler on someone, they're just out of the fight, dude. They can't move. They are slowed by so much. They miss 4 out of 10, and with the shard they miss 8 out of 10 hits, and the attack speed is slowed by 65. So this item together with your E just takes someone out of the fight for 6 seconds, basically. So I think in general Brood just got buffed by a lot. Her early game will be way better. Her late game is a little bit weaker because we don't have that much additional damage anymore and that much lifesteal anymore with the bite. Not with the bite, with the insatiable hunger, but I think that's fine because you just scale way better. Like the early game scaling is so much better that you can just have more items. You can just obliterate the enemies even quicker, so that missing this little bit of lifesteal and damage later is not that big of a deal. I will keep you guys updated on how to play the new Brood, which skill builds I think you want to go and stuff like that after I've figured them out myself. As I said before, I did not play any games of the new Brood yet, and I will probably play a lot of them on stream the next days. So if you guys want to join me, we can try and figure out some builds together. That would be really cool. And I will keep you guys updated here on my channel after I've figured out some builds. So this will probably take a few days. But yeah, I will keep you guys updated. Have a nice day. Thanks for watching the video. See you guys.